Ready to go? All right. It's a little bit, couple minutes after 9 o'clock. I think we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you have cell phones or anything, go ahead and get them muted. And Becky, will you call roll call, please?
I sure will. Jim Sheeline, Reed Acree,
Here.
Tom Kitson,
Present.
Mike Book, Jason Anderson,
Aye.
Tom Wilson, and Ally Hess.
Here.
There's Ellie. All right. Ask anybody here if they have any comments to make prior to being called up or anything that's not on the agenda. All right. Well, seeing none, we'll hold off on doing anything with the minutes right now. I did see Dean just walk in, so maybe we could add him here in a bit. But in the meantime,
There he is.
come on and sit over here real quick, Dean.
So Reed, you do have to, as the chair, to appoint him to join for
Okay.
quorum. So
So do we have, how does that work? Help me out.
you can just say you want to appoint
Would you
Dean Creel.
join us as in addition to our finance committee here? I would. All right. Thank you very much, Dean.
Aye.
Duly appointed. yes.
Aye.
All right. I imagine everybody had a chance to look at yesterday's minutes. They're on the onboard if there's any changes we need to make. But if not, we'll keep them as they stand. All right. Old business, we don't have any old business today. So we'll move right into new business and start off with hearing some department head presentations. So is Kathy here? Kathy, would you come up here and join us, and you can sit at any one of the seats here and tell us a little bit about what you're looking for this year. Morning.
Our budget is.
Oh.
And by the way, just for the record, Kathy's with the health department. Kathy Ferguson.
Yeah, I was counting this morning. This is my 24th budget hearing.
Is it really?
It is. So, our budget is fairly comparable from year to year. Really what we look to the county board for is, because as you can see, we do bring in a lot of grant dollars, but what we definitely depend on from the county board is our levy amount, because that definitely helps support our operations. Several years ago, maybe 3, our levy amount was cut from, I believe, 465 to 200,000. So I am hoping that we can have some discussions about starting to restore that, whether it's gradually, I'm fine with that. But I think the goal of the finance committee was to reduce our cash reserves, because we had, for many years of my tenure, we had very, very healthy cash reserves. And the finance committee has achieved that goal. So I am looking to come up with some kind of a plan, hopefully, where we can start to restore that.
What are your cash reserves today?
At the end of last month, I'm guessing around 148,000.
May I ask, previous years, how large had they?
When I got here all those years ago, we were at about $1 million.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, and I can understand that they would want to.
Yeah.
That whittle down.
Jim Sheeline had often quoted 4 months. I always said I'm much more comfortable with 6 months reserves. But we do have some money that's still to come in, but 148 is lower than anything I've ever seen in my time here.
Okay.
Did you have questions on any of the grants or?
Well, the first line there under property taxes is 704% year year over year change. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I just figured I didn't necessarily expect that full amount, but my board at my last evaluation, my instructions were to be, how did they word it? Diplomatically assertive
And what,
in pursuing funding.
and if I can jump in, so to be honest, that's actually a number I put in, and that is historically pretty close to what we were levying for. And that is the number that I used when we had our revenue projections meeting. I think I talked about both the health department and veteran services, which is coming up, that those were ones that we would need to increase the levy amounts for those. Whether or not it needs to be that specifically, I think there's gonna be some further discussions on that, but that is what it was historically, and so that's what I put it in as.
When you say historically, you're talking about when Kathy said there was $1 million there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm remembering correctly, and I can look it up real quick, I mean, I think that levy amount was in place probably in 2020 or 2021, that we were levying that amount of, for specifically the health department.
So Jason, that increase is showing restoring the levy. If we restored the levy to the full amount of, the historical levy at $450,000.
Right.
So it's not, doesn't have, I mean, yes, it has stuff to do with, something to do with our cash reserves, but that is the reflection that increases restoring the levy.
All in one fell swoop. It sounds like it was reduced, and as Kathy mentioned about the idea of working back gradually. Is that
Yeah.
doing it all in one time?
Well, and I mean, I think we're gonna iron that out a little bit, in
So-
terms of potentially a ramp up period.
Yes, but what we're showing there is if we did restore it to its, to the full levy that we previously had, that is what we're showing on paper. We still have work to do. So we just want you to see what it would look like if we restored it to the $450,000.
And I think additionally, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, but that cash reserve, the amount that I think even Jim agreed to was to be around $500,000, right? That's kind of what we thought was in terms of a 4 to 6 month cash reserve for the health department. That was kind of the ballpark. And currently, and yes, there are some transfers still to come in, but it's right around 100,000 at the moment in terms of maybe 150,000 as a fund balance. So we're lower than probably historically we ever have been. Yes, there's still a transfer to come in for this year, but we do need to do some work to start restoring the health department's levy.
And the 450 is in the more recent past. For many, many, many years after I arrived, we were at like 560-ish was our levy.
So it sounds like you and Jeremy and Reed have kind of collaborated on coming together on some things that will work. I would imagine for you and for the county.
Mhm.
So then I noticed under the 32% reduction on the IDPH family planning grant. So that's 32% less money you're getting through that grant.
Yes, because of federal cuts that
Okay.
trickle down to the state, that trickle down to us.
Sure.
Although I will tell you that this year, we were able to get additional dollars late in the grant year. They had remaining funds, so they said because we did such a good job, we were able to get it.
So is there
Additional.
somebody in your office that just manages grants?
Oh, well, it's a joint effort between our fiscal director and myself.
Your who?
Our fiscal director,
Okay. And is there somebody that's out there always kind of beating the bushes for more grants or other, I was in this world for a long time, and it's kind of amazing when you look at when when you can really have the time and the resources, that there's money out there to be had, but you got to have somebody focused on doing it.
Right. And that's, I mean, I would probably apply for more if I had more time to do the writing. If I find a grant that I think, oh, we've got the capacity to do this and it's worth my time to spend writing it, we absolutely will. I wrote for one last year that unfortunately we didn't get, but I thought it would be a perfect fit for us. But yes, I'm always looking.
Mhm. And you've been in your position, you said, for 24 years?
It was 23, but I started right in June. I started right around budget time that year. But yeah, 23, let you know, my plan is to retire in 2 years after 25.
Yeah, and so then my next question is, do you have an heir apparent that's been trained and?
No, we have been doing, my management team has been doing succession planning because our director of maternal child health, who's been with us 31 years, is retiring in January. It's going to be a big loss. It's a very integral position. So we do have a couple people internally that are interested in that. We did surveys. Nobody seemed to be interested in my position, so we will probably be looking outside, but we are working on a timeline. My board, if financials allowed, my board would like several months overlap with me and my successor.
Mhm. But that's not going to, you don't plan that to be in this fiscal year?
No,
Coming fiscal year.
I'm looking at summer of 28.
And how's your department? Do you have much turnover, or have you had a long-term staff, really long-term staff?
We have turnover here and there, and we've had some people over the years where it's been a stepping stone, but we've also had a lot of longevity. We had somebody just retire who was here over 30 years. My fiscal director's been here 30 years, my director of maternal child health, and then myself. That's a lot of years that we're going to be losing in, the next several years.
And how many people work in your department, Kathy?
I think we are at 18.
Okay. And have you, in the last year, implemented any kind of cost-saving measures, new programs to try to create more efficiency, reduce overhead? Have you had a chance to do anything like that?
Yes, we did not replace the person I just said who retired. She helped our fiscal director. And because a lot of things have now gone automated and things are going to be more streamlined, our director said, I think I can do this. So we did not replace Lois when she retired.
Good, very good. And the only other last thing on the numbers I was looking at is under Department Health expenses, with a 42% increase on part-time salary. I think that's part-time, is that right?
Yes, we hired our new food inspector at 4 days per week instead of the outgoing was 5. So that got put in there. Also, our environmental health specialist, Sam, who came back from maternity leave, came back part-time.
So that wasn't an ad of a person, that was just replacing somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we have not added any positions.
Thank you.
Looks like the net on salaries is like
No.
probably a net lower than it has been. Any other questions, Dean? Ally, do you have any questions? And I could read lips. I think she said no.
Sorry, trying to find the unmute button. No, I do not.
All right, thanks, Ally. Tom, you have anything? Looks good. Yeah, I appreciate you coming in and everything that you do over there. That's
Yeah, just curious, what would you say? When I came to the county board, I was really shocked to see really the depth of what the health department does. What is it that, what would you say the top 2 or 3 things that are your functions? Top 2 or 3.
Well, obviously, environmental health is very big in terms of wells, septics, food inspections, nuisances more than ever. family planning, I would say, is one of our big ones. And then all of maternal child health, which is WIC, better birth outcomes, and childhood immunizations.
And roughly, do you have an idea how many citizens in the county you serve?
Not off the top of my head. We do on our website every year, we publish an annual report that it doesn't break it down that way, but it does tell you how many various services we provide, how many inspections we do, how many childhood shots we give, that kind of thing.
It's in your annual
Yeah.
report. Okay. I can look that up. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Appreciate your continued support.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Appreciate it.
While we're transitioning, I think Kathy brought up a point that we should probably be thinking about in terms of a lot of our departments is succession planning and doing it the right way. Building in that overlap where we know we're going to need to have good training. It's probably a good question to ask a lot of our department heads of whether or not they need to be succession planning in the near future and what are their plans and when do they think they're going to occur? So
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of experience that's gonna be, we're gonna have some attrition there that, we're gonna miss out on that experience, so we do need to make the extra steps probably here in the very near future, it sounds like.
yep.
Yeah, actually, and Kathy had shared that with me about 2 months ago, and it was actually a really cool exercise that they did, which we don't see a lot throughout the county, which we would like to replicate because it was great to see the feedback from staff, not just on their current roles, but where they would like to see themselves in the future within the department. So.
That sounds very good.
Well, on the subject of succession planning, one of the things that when I left my position 2 years ago, we had a succession plan. Tom Demmer took over my role. But also I think it can be considered is the idea that if the retiring person is willing to do so, is to continue to use them as on a consulting basis. Not on the payroll, but they're consultants.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not under IMRF but under IMRF rules, of course, they're allowed to work up to 1,000 hours a year. So something to consider as the succession planning discussion goes forward is that whether or not people would be willing to kind of work on the other side after they retire.
I'm sure some people, when they leave, they're saying
They're done.
we're done, but there's others that, would be more than happy. And I'm sure Jeremy is kind of checks that out on almost every department, don't you, Jeremy? So.
Just as Jason mentioned, there are IMRF rules that we need to make sure that we adhere to and whatnot too. But there's a few beyond the 1,000 hours, but that's one of the bigger ones. But we do have to manage that as well.
Yep. All right. Well, very good. Seeing we should be able to move on to the county clerk's office. Nancy, would you come up and join us? Thank you very much, Kathy. Appreciate it.
Morning.
Morning.
To start, my budget's pretty close to the same from last year. There's just a couple of key points we want to touch on there. And obviously, the first one is going to be the salary full-time line. Right there, we've adjusted it by approximately 35,000 because I do have a new hire that started down in the election department. She's been here 3 weeks, and she is here to learn Deb's responsibilities in the election department. So Deb is another one that I've had for 21 years. She will retire April and May of next year. So I was fortunate enough to find a girl that has some experience, and she started downstairs, so she will be here for 2 election cycles. I hope only 2 election cycles before Deb leaves. So I do have an extra girl down in the election department. So that's where the salary full-time line looks a little higher than normal. And then again, we adjusted the health insurance, IMRF, and the FICA to accommodate for that. And then if you move on down to my election expense, we only have one, well, I shouldn't say that. We potentially only have one election next year. We will not know until October if we will have to have a primary, and that relates to the city of Dixon. So if we have to hold a primary for the positions, it's open, and I do believe it's the mayor and 2 councilman seats. So that is not in my budget. And I know in years past, I've put it in there and they've taken it out. So I just have not put that in there. So if we have to have a primary, which would be held in February, I will need to adjust that. You know, that's going to run, unfortunately, $38,000 if we have to do a primary. We haven't had to.
Nancy, when is the, when do city, when the city elections, they're in April, right?
Yeah.
And when do they have to file?
So like you said, they're pulling petitions right now.
For
So-
next April?
Yes, yes, because
Really?
then that determines then if we have to have a primary. So if we have, you know, a race for mayor, then we have to have a primary
Okay,
in the same party,
right.
if that makes sense.
I thought city elections were nonpartisan.
They might be.
So-
Might be right.
So like in that case, would the expense for that election be as much as it would be for like a blanket primary that's throughout the whole county?
It is, yeah, because the same amount of work has to go into no matter what size it is. Yeah, and like you said, we just, yeah, we haven't had to have one, but you just never know. You know, if somebody, like you said, I haven't heard any buzz in the city of Dixon, if there's anyone even interested in the mayor's position. We haven't got that far. They started circulating petitions July 28th. So it's just fairly new.
And they're due by when?
So they have to file by October 26th. So that was when we'll know if we need to have a primary or not.
And that would be held when?
February,
February, okay, and then.
February 23rd.
And the general elections in April.
Right. So you've got, yeah, so it's February 23rd would be that primary, and then the consolidated election is April 6th, and that's where you have your trustees, clerk, treasurer and you are, I apologize, it is nonpartisan. You are correct.
But if there's 3 candidates for mayor, then you'd have to have a primary.
Yeah.
Because there's only, you can only have 2 in a municipal election.
Correct.
For the general. And then what about the councilman? How many filings would you have to have to?
Looks
have a
like there's
primary?
2 seats open. So again, you know, I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to check on that. I don't have that figure in front of me of how many that would be if we needed to have a primary for the councilman.
Generally, there's not that many people interested, but I understand. Okay,
Right, right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then again, this is the election that, you know, comes up in February the one that is in April that, you know, is also schools and things like that. And this is probably the least.
Oh, school board. Yeah,
Mhm.
school board. What other? There's school board, there's municipal, there's
Yep,
no county.
no county.
Oh,
Townships, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the election that least amount of people show up to vote. And again, it's just like anything else, it's all the same.
It doesn't matter, you still
You're
gotta.
right.
Do you have the same situation on the school board? If you have a whole bunch of people wanting to run, do you have to have a primary for that?
No, Okay, so that's where we go with the election expense. And then again, you know, a publication, as you'll see, has dropped. This says negative 83%. And that is because the decision that I made of going with that flyer that was an insert that saves the county a tremendous amount of money. So we'll only have that one time next year. Postage is another, you know, freaky deaky thing. It just keeps going up and up and up, but you know, hopefully we won't have another increase before the election, but
Certainly that flyer though,
Mhm.
coming up with that,
Yeah.
that helps out. a
that
bit.
it's helped out, yeah, to offset kind of the publication and the postage. And then again, if you go on then to special recording and vital records, you know, that is just the foot traffic that comes in. You never know exactly how many people are, number one, going to get married, pull their child's birth certificates, and, you know, need death certificates and stuff. So that's where that fee, you know, never know for sure what that's going to look like. My miscellaneous expense in vital records has gone up just a little bit. It says 5%. That miscellaneous expense takes an effect of my envelopes that we supply, all the birth, death, and marriage certificates. Again, this is all paper that it's not going down. It's only going to go up in cost with that. And then down in, sorry, up top on the special recording, that miscellaneous expense is where we pull in a lot of the redemption costs that we do for delinquent taxes
What happened to the interest income?
for,
Under department, under at the top there, interest income went to zero.
That's usually one that I fill in
I was just gonna say, I don't see
for
it.
everybody, kind of when we have a better understanding of where our rates are gonna be. So I guess I wouldn't necessarily worry about that one too much. It'll get added in when we evaluate kind of all of our, I mean, because the way our system works is we pool all of our cash, right? So another thing that we then need to do is allocate it all out
Each
to
department.
each departments, right? And so when we're looking at projecting those interest income numbers, we're gonna pool it and then also kind of allocate it out. So more so just cautious on where rates are at, but that would be something that I would fill in at some point down the process. It's more of a function of, hey, where are their fund balances going to be and what are the rates that we're seeing in terms of our CD portfolio or our bond portfolio.
Sure.
I
I understand.
yeah.
You got that, thank you. And then on the first page, under RETRF stamps, there's a 29% reduction, $72,000. What does that represent?
Okay.
It's third from the bottom there.
Yeah, those are the transfer stamps that go on to every document that's recorded in the recording side. Okay, and I'm sure we're all fully aware of what's happening with the market. So unfortunately, I don't see that that's going to increase, but those are the stamps that we charge on every document that's recorded in the office, and then we have to pay a percentage to the state of Illinois. And that's what those stamp dollars are. So like, for instance,
So
the
real
last,
estate transactions.
yeah.
So you have to pay that to the state of Illinois?
Yeah. And there's been, like you said, obviously a decline right now because of the interest rates and selling. So yeah, like I said, we were down like last month and this month to like 14,000, where normally it runs anywhere in 28,000, 30,000. So it's down considerably. And that just fluctuates with the market. Where we are with that.
That line is then also going to go very consistently with kind of some of the clerk fees, right? Because we do still get some fees because of that, but they're gonna move in connection with each other. So if the transfer stamps, well, if the transactions are more, we're gonna get more revenue too. We're gonna have more expense, but if they go down, we're gonna have less revenue, less expense.
And how are the fee rates set? Are those something that's done by ordinance or by state statute? How are your fees set?
And pertaining to a recorded document.
Well, all your fees, you know, under county clerk, the very first item there that's down 10%, but are the rate of the fees, you know, the amount that you choose, do you have the arbitrary choice to what you want the fees to be? Or is it set by ordinance or by county board? How is that done?
Yeah, it's set by ordinance because as you will see, each county, it's different. There's a different fee. So like our recording fee jumped up like, I don't know, it was a lot, 15% approximately 4.5 years ago because they upped the GIS fee. So like you said, our recording fee now is $88, which is about normal compared to the smaller counties around us. So that was set by ordinance and county board. Mhm.
Okay. I assume, Jeremy, that's something you present when the need is to change it?
I'm sorry.
Is that, when it comes to fees for anything, you know, the clerk's office, is that?
If there's a
some-
fee change, typically that'll come in from the department and we talk about that through finance. And then we work through that process if it's in ordinance or statute. So, yeah.
And then it's presented to the county board. for
That's correct.
approval. Yeah, okay.
And by statute, unfortunately, I can't just go tomorrow, hey, I want to increase my
Yeah.
first, you know what,
Yeah, sure.
what I'm saying. Yeah, and then like I said, you have to do the cost study and things like that. But yeah, like, so that's what you'll find if you go to Ogle County. Their birth certificates and marriage certificates are a different fee compared to Lee County. So you can set that.
Other than the staff change or alterations that you're having that affect this year's budget, but where you stand as far as your staff goes, like over the next 5 years, as far as attrition there,
Right.
succession. I
Yeah,
guess.
I was trying to get ahead of that this year, but that didn't pan out. But yeah, so I do potentially have, along with, like you said, that I lose Deb next year. And then in the next 2 years, I have 2 girls that are potentially leaving on the second floor. One of them is turning of retirement age and the other one is going to retire with her husband. So these are things I'm looking, you know, down the road. I've been trying in the last couple of years to get people cross-trained. But again, you still have to have X amount of people in the position that they need to be in on a daily basis. Recording is a number one. So e-recording is something that's very new and is doing nothing but going up. So e-recording entails somebody to literally be sitting at a computer and waiting for them to come in, and then you're having to take care of that. But yeah,
Addressing
like,
them as they come in and.
yep. Unlike before, it literally came in the mail or was walked in. Now, like I said, the e-recording world is exploding. So you need, in that software that I have, you have to have 2 people that work in that same software at the same time to process these documents. So,
So that's caused you to have to add labor, not
well,
reduce it.
I tried. Yes, I've been trying to.
But you said it takes 2 people.
It takes 2 people on the recording side. And back in the day, they used to have 3. And then there was always 2 people on the vital side, where that's where the birth, marriage, and records is. And I've had that position has been 1 person for a good year. So that's where, you know, I fill in.
But there's probably trade-offs. You don't have as many walk-ins now compared, I mean, you have probably so many more e-files
Yeah.
now that kind of offsets a little bit, but.
It does a little bit, yeah. And like you said, back in the day also, before I took office, they used to do, you know, I'm sure you've been in my office and seen those humongous books that we have. Everything was written in the hand, everything was written in the book. So luckily,
Yeah.
right before I took over, Kathy Myers did away with that because everything is.
Oh, the big book doesn't exist anymore?
No, because it's all, now it's all.
I had to come in and experience that. I
Right.
couldn't believe how archaic it was. That was
Yeah,
really,
so now everything is in the computer and it's backed up and it's backed up and it's backed up.
Yeah.
So we have several, backups for
Yeah.
in case there was ever an issue.
yeah. Well, I know from being involved for many, many years in many, many, many elections that you have a very challenging job, and I think you do a great job at it, Nancy.
Thank you,
And
Jason.
I know that also with the onset of all the changes that are foisted upon and all the media attention to election integrity, that's all stuff that's very important to you. And I think you do a great job at it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Well, does anybody else have any questions? Ally? Oh, Dean.
I just got a quick question, just for my own knowledge. What is Laredo Tapestry?
Okay, so that is the software that we offer to, let's say, the public and title searchers for them to search our records.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people ask, oh, so I can just go online and search records, right from online? No, you have to have a subscription to be able to search those records and print those documents.
Okay, thank
So
you.
like title companies would have that.
Yeah, and like I said, that also fluctuates too, because like you said, like right now, we have several people that are in our office that are working on solar. So they're doing huge solar searches. So then that's where a lot of that money comes from. Sure.
Ally, do you have anything? Tom? Jason, anything?
I'm
else?
good. Thanks.
No.
Well, thank you very much, Nancy. Do you have any questions for us?
No.
Right.
I'm good.
All right.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
well,
much.
Thank you for your time and all the preparation you do for this. All right, we're a couple minutes behind here, but let's keep rolling here. The probation department, Stacy Stewart. Excuse me? Okay, Amy, would you be able to step up here? Appreciate it. Amy's with the circuit clerk's office, just for documentation. Morning. Amy.
Morning.
How are you today? Good.
This isn't on, is it? There we go. Now it's on. So I'm assuming we're all looking at the same thing, right? I'm hoping. Okay, so with county general, the big changes are obviously the salary increases to account for raises. December 1, employees get raises. That number is actually a little bit lower than I anticipated due to the fact that I am recently down 4 full-time employees.
Amy, let me just stop you 1 second. When I printed those out yesterday, I did not have the changes. So what
No.
they're looking at, you need to look at in onboard.
Okay.
'Cause there was a revision last night.
Okay,
Okay.
I can show the number. Requested was 480,000 in salaries for full-time.
Okay.
But that's lower than what like I said, because I'm short-staffed and I'm trying to fill some positions here.
The other
Quickly.
thing that I guess I would also comment on that, if you're comparing it to last year,
Yes.
last year was significantly lower, but that is more because Amy was very helpful with us when we were coming down to the end of trying to make sure that everything reconciled and was able to or allowed us to potentially put some of those wages expense out of the clerk operations fund. So you'll see that in here. This is restoring kind of what our normal salary cost is in county general, that total amount, and you'll see kind of a reduction in the clerk operations miscellaneous expense account for that. So
It's kind of nice that you guys were able to work together on that last year.
we
Absolutely.
very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
We need employees, so. So that's pretty much the only really change in county general. Everything else is pretty much,
And the health insurance is just due to the
That's-
increase in health
yeah,
insurance
the,
rates.
yes,
Again,
HR.
I mean,
agreed, puts that in.
right now, we're anticipating a 25% increase from, that's a tentative number, but that's what we're going with. Obviously, we're doing our work in terms of looking around, see other potential options, but that's what we're going with for our budget purposes, because that's probably the most solid number that we have.
So this IMRF increase, is that due to salary increases, but not, if Amy fills the 4 positions, this is gonna all change pretty dramatically, right?
It's already budgeted in.
Yeah.
for the 4
You've already-
employees.
the
It's
two
already
temporary-
in,
To hire them.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just
All right.
replacements.
And
I got you.
IMRF, the employee side never changes. right? What the employee contributes to
Right.
IMRF, but what the
Right.
employer contributes does change every year. We get a
Right.
preliminary number from IMRF.
I'm familiar.
We have their number this year. It's up a little bit for the regular IMRF plan, maybe about a little less than a percentage point. But it's also down in the SLEP side. So it's probably a net wash, but you'll see in everybody that's just regular IMRF plans, their IMRF going up, and you'll see on the SLEP side that
Yeah.
it's going down.
Health insurance is up 20,000. Does that include big raise we got on the rate, or is that?
It's budgeted in for this year, but Reed, I believe it's,
Yeah, that's all. I mean, the difference is 26% from
Okay.
previous year, right? So
Previous.
we were kind of right on in terms of what we budgeted for last year so far based on our run rate. So yeah, it's just that 25% increase.
Like,
right.
Yep.
I got a question on the last page. Miscellaneous expenses dropping $50,000.
That's where,
That's-
yep,
yep.
where I was gonna get to that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But that's okay, you jumped ahead. So we're looking at the clerk ops fund. I think that's a typo, correct, Reed? The
No,
55
that's the one where, so yes, it's dropping $50,000, but because that's where we moved some of the wages last year, and kind of put them there just in case we needed to utilize it. I don't think we actually will need to utilize it this year, but, I guess right now what then we're reflecting is our normal wages all coming out of county general. Yeah, that increase last year of 50,000, we basically, if you kind of look, we kind of budgeted, if you're looking at that wages, right? If you go to the full-time wages this year, they're up a little over 50, and this we're down 50, and it was just that
Gotcha.
transfer.
Okay.
Trying to even it out.
Also up there under maintenance agreement, there's a $50,000 year-over-year change.
Right, so that's in clerk automation, is that where you're looking? So I dropped that
Well,
by 50.
Maintenance agreement.
Right, it's in the clerk automation fund under maintenance agreement, went from 90 to 40. I dropped that 50,000, anticipating that we're gonna cancel our current contract with our case management system before year end,
Okay.
as long as we're up and running with Tyler.
The
Yeah,
other program.
so that would be a big drop.
Right now, right, we're kind of having to support two systems.
Yeah.
We've got our normal fees for the system that we're running, and then we've got fees for the new one that,
Correct.
hey, while they're building it, they still need their fees. So we're anticipating that drop when we can go back to having only one.
So Amy, one thing, you're short staffed, but you're projecting that your salary overtime is gonna go down 10,000.
Yes, we have not used a lot of overtime. I do anticipate to use some because of the new system, but we haven't used that much. So I just dropped it 10,000. We should be okay. There is some other, I believe there's some other, and is that child support? There's another, that is what you're talking about, child support
Well,
fund.
the second page, salary overtime.
Mhm, Yep,
Yeah, and just.
because do you see the prior years, there was none used? So I was just
Right.
trying to help out and lower that a little bit.
Maybe I'm making a wrong assumption. If you're short 4 people, sometimes you gotta have people work overtime to make up for the lack of
Right, correct.
staffing, so.
But that's usually myself and my chief deputy. It's not,
Got it. Okay.
and I can't mandate that, but
Okay.
That's
Um,
also for a specific revenue fund, and it might be that we just haven't had to do that
right.
kind of work, like the TB fund that Kathy would have to manage, right? Like, we don't have TB cases all the time, but we have to fund it, and when we do have expenses, then we need to use them. But this is probably more of just a, hey, it's been pretty consistent. We haven't had any overtime need here. We don't foresee any, so.
Also in that, I was going to say on that note, in that child support enforcement fund, I left postage the same. As you heard Nancy say, that postage goes up usually twice a year. Again, we've been pretty lucky. We have not gone over, so I just kept that the same. But normally we raise that every year.
Just 'cause,
You know,
yep.
it's, and by statute, we have to mail things out, so. But that's the main changes. I do want to touch on Tyler, what Reed said, we are paying for 2 systems. The first year capital, it came out of capital. This is year 2, the department's heads will be paying for that. So that will probably be brought up in other meetings, but I just wanted you to be aware of that.
So like in conversations with other departments, succession planning, do you have people that are retiring, people that are planning?
Not to my knowledge.
Have any turnover issues?
There's a lot of turnover issues here and there, but that's normal. The clerk's office is kind of a basis. They get in, they kind of move on. Sometimes other departments take them. It's usually all about the money, but that's the way it is. I mean, it's statewide. It's not just our office.
And in terms of efficiencies, Tyler, is it doing what you hoped it would do? Or is it,
Well,
you got more to expect?
we're still in the early stages. Yes, we're hoping it's going to do more. I can say that my office, with being the keeper of the court records, every time there's a judge in the courtroom, a clerk has to be in there. We do have 5 courtrooms. We only have 4 judges, but we do have conflict cases that out-of-county judges come handle. So at any time, 5 of my employees can be in court. So I'm pretty short right now. And when I leave here, I have to actually go relieve somebody in court. So we have office help today, but that's the way it is. We'll, we work it out. We got a great team. And that's the way it is.
And go on, work it out on the fly a little.
Yeah,
bit, huh?
pretty much. But that's okay.
Probably the most important part is you got a good team.
I do have a good team. They're great.
And how many people are in your office?
I have 10 full-time and 3 part-time. I did have 1 part-time staff through a grant for the past year. So that helped out offset some of the salaries. But she's not here anymore, but that did help.
Good.
Are there any other questions for Amy? Well, seeing none, thank you very much, Amy, for.
Thank you for your time
Do you
today.
have any,
Thank
do you
you.
have any questions for us? or
I do
anything
not.
going forward?
No, I appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for coming out and getting everything prepared for us.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Yeah, being a team player, working with Reed and Jeremy and, yep, awesome. Thank you very much. All right, Stacy. We'll have, the probation department, Stacy Stewart, step up here, please.
That's reflected in the print off or no? No, it's not.
You pulling it up there? Take your time.
Probation.
Look under 2000. Oh, you're there. Yeah. All right. All right, I think we got it. How are you today, Stacy? Good. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you would, kind of take us through this year's budget and let us know of any changes or anything that needs to be addressed, I guess.
Sure. We'll start with county general. That seems to be the biggest impact for your interest probably today. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah. The increase that you'll see to the county general budget is primarily due to salary increases for this upcoming year. I did have a secretary position that was moved from a non-exempt position to an exempt position. So there is no longer a need for overtime. So that was removed from this year's budget, as well as we removed the salary part-time from the budget as well.
What is longevity? I know there's nothing listed there, but what is it?
Sure. The longevity is specific to the director's position, to my position. That is through an administrative order that was done by the chief judge for all of the directors or CMOs throughout the circuit. And it's based on years of service.
But there's nothing budgeted for it. Oh, yes, there is, $2,100. Okay.
21.
And this is, what does the money, how is the money spent?
As a bonus.
Oh,
the
it's a
salary
part of
wage.
compensation.
Correct.
For wage.
Okay. And sick pay is pretty significant increase in sick pay because,
Sick days are being withdrawn, and then they're also getting, I have 4 employees, they get paid out sick time at the end of the year as well for the days that they don't use.
they don't use.
Mhm.
Is that by statute? Is that by just department head decision?
We have a county-wide policy that we kind of have a maximum sick bank balance that if someone goes, that balance is basically 60 days. And so it's kind of in line with your federal labor or FMLA, right? 12 weeks. So our policy is that someone can have up to 60 days in their bank. And say that happens on November 30th, they reach that balance. They're still allowed to accrue their sick time in the following year. But when the next year comes around, we basically do an adjustment to bring them down to the maximum cap of 60 days. The county's policy is to either allow the employee to take half of those sick days as a payout, and then the other half would then be banked and reported to IMRF as unused sick days. We also allow the employee to take all of those days as potentially IMRF serves banked days, but that's in the county handbook.
So you can only carry 60 days
Correct.
total.
I mean, so theoretically, but if you have 60 days on November 30th and we get through the end of December and you haven't used anything, now you have 61 days, right? So we allow them for the next full year to get to essentially 72, but then when we start the new year, we do the payouts and or bank the other time so that everyone then starts again at 60 days if
So
they're
you
at
pay,
that
you
level.
pay the employee a bonus of not using those sick days,
That's,
basically, right?
Yeah.
And, but they don't get those for their IMRF payout at the end.
No.
They've been paid
It's
for.
either you
It's
get
either
them
or.
paid out or they go to service credit.
I got you.
It's like you have 2 banks, a county bank and an IMRF bank.
Okay, yeah.
Dependent Children Care Fund, I've left that the same at the 27,612. That is a number that I can't predict. Sometimes we've exceeded it, other times we've come in well below it. That is entirely dependent upon the number of minors that are detained at the Kane County Juvenile Justice Center. We've done pretty well this year in regards to that. Contractual services, you'll see an increase with that. That is to reflect the increase for the Tyler Case Management System.
Casey, on insurance,
Mhm.
on our health insurance, we are 53%, or I think we were 25 on other departments. Is that,
That could just be a change in
okay,
someone's status throughout the year. We budgeted last year thinking someone didn't need it and then they used it halfway through the year. And
okay,
at the end of the day, that kind of stuff all usually just washes out, but
okay, thank you.
How many people in your department?
I have a total of 10. And then I also have 2 to 3 part-time contractual employees.
Mhm.
Those part-time contractual employees are typically paid from probation service fees, drug court fund, veterans treatment court fund, not from the county funds.
I think I asked you this last year and, yeah, I think I actually offended you about, well, are you going to be here much longer? Or are you planning to retire? Well, we've had this conversation today about succession planning.
I've heard it.
So, if I did offend you, I want to apologize for that. But just, again, you've been here a long time, and is there anyone capable of taking your role if you decide, whenever you decide?
We just did some reorganization in my office. We had 2 senior POs and we restructured it a little bit differently. And we still have 1 senior PO, but we've created a supervisor position. So that person works a little bit closer alongside with me, understanding a little bit more of what my role is in that direction.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't believe so. Ally, do you have anything? Stacy?
I do not, thank you.
I just saw it, maybe you mentioned it earlier, the contractual services is up.
Significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for the addition of the Tyler case management system.
Oh, okay.
And keep in mind, we went live with that in December. You asked about how expectations, what is it working? Okay. We came into this with very high expectations for Tyler because we had seen how it worked in some other departments. And I will just say it has exceeded our expectations. The capabilities of it are unbelievable and it's been fantastic. Just recently in July, there was a bill that was passed in regards to pretrial. And we are now required to notify each individual who has a pending court case at least 3 times of their court date. And we have to notify them if they miss a court date. All of that is to be done by text messaging. If we were not with the Tyler case management system, that would fall back on us going to another outside vendor to do that, or it would be all manual entry. We have approximately 250 pretrial cases. So that's a very large extra burden to place on somebody. The Tyler system has all of that already set up within that system to where we just enter the next court date and it will go and automatically send those court date reminders to that person. And it also documents it in their case file for us as well, which is everything that we needed to be compliant with that new bill that was passed.
Okay.
So-
thank you.
Removes a lot of
Oh my
risk.
gosh, it was a great relief when I reached out to Tyler and they said, we've already got this already set up. Other places are already doing this. This is exactly how it's
Must be
gonna
like
work.
what the doctor's offices do now. You get
Exactly,
all your text messages
exactly.
for your doctor's appointments and then a reminder on top of a reminder on top of a reminder.
Exactly.
Do you, you said 250 cases, pretrial cases are is that the average what you're handling is
That-
250?
Yes, yep.
Okay. At any given time, it could be as average as 250.
Yes, that's a rolling number for us throughout the year. We're typically getting about 30 new cases, 30 new pretrial cases per month.
And how has the Safety Act impacted your office?
It has changed a lot of what we do, the court reminders specifically. There was a creation, which is great, I'm glad you brought that up, actually. So the state also created the Office of Statewide Pretrial Services. So they have outlined, similar to the probation division under AOIC, contact standards and how we should be doing the work that we are doing with justice-involved individuals, which are the pretrial clients. So with that, they have been able to also offer a reimbursement for our pretrial expenses for this last year. So I am looking at about $52,000 being reimbursed back to me for pretrial services that we expended last year. But it has been an oversight to our office. And it has impacted us in ways of more contact and the frequency of the contact.
Good.
Also a side note, on my agenda or on my budget up at the top, I have reimbursement for probation. That's the second line there. I have a meeting with the Administrative Office of the Illinois Courts tomorrow. There was money left over from the budget. So they are going to possibly be able to reimburse us additional funds for the 1 salary subsidy position in my office. So after I meet with them tomorrow, I may be able to have a better idea on how much money we are also going to be
Awesome.
getting back from them.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, well, any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much, Stacy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. If everybody's good, we'll continue on with the Veterans Assistance Department. Jim Gorman, how are you doing, Jim? And then we have Bruce with us too. All right, very good. Bruce is the service officer.
New service officer. That we put in the budget last year that we requested for that position. Bruce started with us in April, first, second week of April. Has gone through all of his, has gone through his NAC VSO training, which is the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers Training. He did that tail end of May in Reno. Right now, he's waiting for confirmation on his accreditation and that, so he can actually start filing cases. From the day he came back from training, the first part of June, he has been working with veterans to get the paperwork started for their, and I don't know, 15, 20 cases he's been working on, something like that. So that position is exceeding what we thought it was going to exceed. Once he gets his accreditation, things will really start moving on. So
It's good that they have an ambassador to help them out with all that.
and that's what
great.
we needed rather than send them to Ogle or DeKalb or
Have
Lacell or
it right here
whatever.
in Lee
So,
County.
Yep.
Awesome.
Actually, he saw 2 people already this morning. So
Really? Uh, There,
One question I have, and this is probably for Reed, health insurance, it's zeroed out, that getting paid by somebody else?
No, more so just a function of who's working in the office and whether or not, last year when we did this, we had a position that we knew we were going to need to fill. And so we kind of had to make some assumptions about the general person that might be in that job, right? And so I think we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't potentially plan for some health insurance costs.
Okay,
It turned out we got someone that didn't need it, right? So
Okay.
that could obviously always change, right? But we kind of plan for what we know, and a lot of the other stuff kind of washes out. Someone joins, someone, leaves the health insurance plan, kind of washes out at the end. It might not be all in one particular budget, but between all of our department budgets, they usually kind of wash.
so now that you have 2 working, these are full-time positions?
no, I'm part-time.
You're
The
part-time.
VAC, Veterans Assistant Commission Superintendent, is a part-time position.
Okay.
That's me, 16 hours a week.
Okay,
And then Bruce, once he gets his accreditation and everything, will be 8:30 to 4:30. So, and that's where the insurance question comes in, because last year we
Uh-huh.
didn't realize who we were gonna hire.
sure.
We hired a 20-year retiree, US Army retiree, so.
Okay.
So,
Well, thank you for your service. That's appreciate both of you, actually. It's
thank you.
great. So Reed, so under property taxes, we've got 135% change
Yeah, so
levied for.
yeah, we talked a little bit about it last year that, hey, we know we're gonna have a new full-time position. We're gonna potentially need to levy more under the veteran services. The good thing was last year, looking at it, right, we had a healthy enough fund balance that, and we didn't necessarily know when, what part of the year we're gonna hire someone, right? So we knew that we had a healthy enough fund balance within the Veterans Commission to sustain the last year without needing to really raise our
Okay.
levy. This
All right.
year, no, we got somebody hired. We know they're gonna be in that role. We just want to make sure that we're appropriately funding veterans.
Yep, explains it. Thank you. I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody else have any questions? Well, I thank you very much, just like Jason said, for your service.
We appreciate
First off,
that.
but also for getting everything prepared and working with Reed on having a plan for this year, so.
Well, we thank you, the county board and the citizens of Lee County for supporting veterans the way they do. The county needs to be proud.
Oh, absolutely, and certainly, we'll pass along the word that hey, we've got somebody to, you know, a group that you two especially to assist them. Paperwork.
Yeah, that's the question. How do veterans know that you're here?
That's the hard part. The Veterans Assistance Commission actually is state mandated. And then 3 years ago, the state mandated that every county has a veteran service officer to
Right.
handle claims and benefit questions and things of that. My position is basically, I am appointed by the veterans organizations in the county. So the biggest thing is, like everything else, word of mouth. You know, sitting around coffee shop and
The
somebody,
American Legion, the VFW.
American Legion, VFW.
You guys post stuff around.
Right.
So people know
Right.
where you're at, how to
And
get
since
ahold of
Bruce
you.
has come on, we've discussed that there are a lot of community events that we need to get out and do some outreach at those events, Petunia Fest, for example,
Mhm.
and some of the things in the downtown areas. And there are some other areas that, even though we are Lee County, there are some other areas, Whiteside County, for example, has nobody. At the present time, they have no Veterans Assistant Commission superintendent, or they haven't even thought about hiring a veteran service officer. So we're getting an overflow from those
Whiteside
folks.
County. Yeah.
So, in that, so, it's hard to educate veterans. As we all get older, you know how that is. Change is
Hard to.
hard to accept, and that, so, it's basically word of mouth. So like I say, once, probably not this year, but next year we'll hit the ground running and, get out and let people know where we're at.
Jim,
Well-
Bruce, do you have any questions for us at all?
Nope, just, we appreciate the support that we get. Like I said, I've been here 12 years and, since day one, I realized, how acceptable the county is and the county board is to veterans and their needs and things like that. So
Thank you very much for everything, so.
appreciate it.
All right. Gentlemen, have a good rest of your day. All right, would we, this is,
You I.
Carla, would you come up? We have, Carla Belzer from the University of Illinois Extension. Yeah. Morning.
Morning.
Well, what, have you got any new changes that you know that for the budget or?
I do think it's a little different this year. I mean, you have our numbers, and like I said, I do have a larger printout. I know that it prints out really small when you go to 8x10. But we like to give you the full picture because, as I mentioned before, our funding structure is kind of complicated, and we are a unit that serves. So there's.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Could you turn on your mic?
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Ally. No, you're good. You're good. So I was just saying, I do have larger printouts if needed. We are a 3-county unit, so we like to give you the full picture of our whole budget. We also have multiple funding sources, so we want to give that information for you as well. Essentially, at the end of the day, I'm not requesting an increase this year. We are still coming in. We're spending our cash reserve, but through some aggressive fiscal management and some natural attrition that we had in a position solely serving Lee County. We had someone else pick up those duties. They were kind of expressing an interest in a change of the work that they were doing. you know, I've been able to reduce our expenses in the county, so I just can't warrant an increase in our levy at this time. But I do want to be very transparent. I was doing the math. You know, if nothing changes in our funding structure, like nothing changes, we would have approximately 3 years until we spent down our cash reserves down to zero. So I'm okay with that, as long as nothing changes. But we know that, you know, cost of living will increase. Our staff, we don't even get the full COLA rate. The university doesn't give that to us. We got a 2% increase this year. So that's challenging. So I don't expect that to, you know, make a huge difference. But we'll continue to aggressively manage our funds so we can stretch those dollars as long as possible. I always like to mention too, you know, how we leverage the funds that we get through our levy. So we get state match from the state of Illinois through the Illinois Department of Ag. And happy to report, we are 100% caught up with county board match through June, which is incredible. I mean, I've been with Extension long enough to live through the days where we had no state budget. That was not fun. And then also where we were years behind in state match. So that's really positive and encouraging. We hope that trend continues. We're projecting that state match to come in at about 70%. So that means the levy dollars go further to support our operations in the county. I am always looking at reducing expenses, and our biggest expense is people. And if we reduce people, we reduce services. So that's not the best option. If we get to a point where we need to look at reducing our expenses further, I am interested in reducing my office space cost. This is a really hard conversation to have. And you'll notice, if you can see it on that tiny little line, what I've done this year to kind of share some of that cost is I've allocated office rental. Yeah, you'll see this year it is only $3,000. That is not the full amount. Our full amount of office rental is actually about $25,000. Why that is only $3,000 this year is because I've costed that amount off to our Smith Lever funding, which is from the federal dollars. Those dollars have been reduced. A whole nother story. Those dollars have been reduced in the years past. We tend to like to use it for office rent to save, you know, county dollars and put dollars actually into services rather than, you know, people sitting in a building. So had I not done that, that would be much higher. So that Smith Lever dollars aren't always guaranteed. The rate of that dollar amount from fiscal year to fiscal year is also not guaranteed. So we kind of take those wins where we can. But so that's something I'm looking at potentially in the future. I mean, it would be, I think our contract is for another 2 years. But, you know, when I look at other models like Blackhawk Regional Council, the ROE, you know, they have multiple staff that work in the county, but aren't housed in the county. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think, you know, what is our preference? You know, is it having people, you know, having a place, or is it services? And I'm happy to follow board's direction on that. I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize our funding, but that is one area where we could reduce expenses.
A couple questions.
Yeah.
The discrepancy in the percentages between Carroll, Lee, and Whiteside. You know, how are those percentages brought?
Sure.
Is that population?
It is based on population. Yeah. So we have 5, 6, 7. We have 8 staff that are shared across a 3-county unit, which again, that, you know, the county ends up winning in that, you know, situation, because you're not paying for a full-time staff member, you know, to serve all of that, to provide those services. So what we do is we cost those shared positions out based on population. So Lee County carries about 32% of our population in our 3-county unit. So you share 32% of the cost.
And then in regards to the levy, it doesn't quite come out to the same. The Carroll's got 80,000, we've got 90, and Whiteside's got 150. Those percentages don't match with The levies are different in each county apparently.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then, so the $90,000 that comes under Lee
Mhm.
is levied. But is there more than that comes out of the county for this service? Total income's 173,690. 90,000 comes out of,
Correct. 90,000 is Lee County's part in that. So you'll see that local matchable revenue sources at
Mhm.
101,700. That is the 90,000 from the Lee County Board, and then any other local funds that we raise. So we do have a local foundation that raises money for 4-H programs.
okay.
Those are matchable. While I'm on the notice of matchable, I did send Jeremy an email, just a heads up about county space. And if you've been around for any length of time, you'll remember my predecessor, Janice McCoy, talked about, if there's county space available, we would definitely be interested in that. So just always floating that out there. I actually just learned yesterday that the value of that space is matchable. So if there was a space that the county had where the value was $10,000, I can match that and bring an additional.
How much space are you talking about?
So right now in the county, I have 2 full-time staff that sit in the office in Amboy. But there's 11 total staff that serve Lee County.
Right.
And we're in and out. There's 3 desks in the office in Amboy and a nice meeting room and storage space and all those things. But so our staff that are kind of the mobile staff, they just sit at that extra desk, the space that's available.
And that's rented
It's
space.
rented. We're not
Rented from the city. is it?
written from the city. And we absolutely love that. Like, we love having a presence in Amboy. We have programs there, our clubs meet there, the Fair Association meets there. Like, we don't want to, reduce that service. But if push comes to shove and we're we're in a corner where we need to reduce expenses,
So are you where the Farm Bureau is?
no,
No,
we're in the community building.
okay.
Yeah.
But the Farm Bureau doesn't have any space.
I haven't checked with them, and this is not something that's urgent. So I'm not, urgently seeking space. So I haven't had those conversations.
No, they're in Amboy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There again, that would probably be a rental space too, I would imagine.
Yeah. And we've thought of all sorts of different opportunities over the years. Even when we had this conversation 5 or 6 years ago, it was before COVID. We were looking at other places here in Dixon. We are actually looking in the city building, the old fire space. Space was a space that we were looking at. So this is not a new conversation to us, but just something I want to make you aware.
It just seems like there'd be a lot of synergy, wouldn't there be, between the Farm Bureau and what
Yeah.
you are?
Yeah, and many extension units across the state are housed with their farm bureaus. Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that's something we can pursue. Again, if nothing changes, we have 3 or 4 years, right? It's just something to put out there and kind of make you aware that that's, always something that we're thinking about. But that local matchable revenue sources, those are donations, people who give us memorials. That's what we have projected for this year. And then you see that estimated state match. So we're bringing in $70,000 based on those local dollars.
One thing, you did a nice job of setting up the weather for the Lee County 4-H fair.
All except Sunday. Sunday was rough. I was out there on Sunday and it was like, we were dripping buckets of
It was hot.
sweat. It was so bad, but yeah.
It was a nice weekend overall.
We will take
compared
it.
to-
We will take it. And I know, Reed, I saw you at the auction. I don't know if you picked up, this year we did a little something different with our awards for our 4-Hers. We actually gave many awards in honor of the Lee County Board. So if you heard them announced, they were provided by the Lee County Board. We just wanted to recognize the contribution that you all provide to 4-H. So it was a little.
Well, it's nice for them to get, there was many of them and they maybe didn't get any other awards other than maybe the ribbon or whatever. So no,
Right.
that's great.
Yeah. So you might start getting a thank you note or 2 in the mail. That's what it's from. Hopefully our 4-Hers are thanking you for that. So
A couple questions.
Yeah.
What does campus mean?
that is our GRF funds. So funds that come in, so general revenue funds from the University of Illinois.
Oh.
So they do contribute some funds. So Our four of our staff, four of our academic staff, you'll see in that line item, that 91,000, they are paid at a 70-30 split. So that means 70% of their salary is provided by local sources and 30% of their salary is provided by campus sources. And then that $35,000 is that Smith Lever allocation from the federal government.
And then what is under personnel expenses, what is total non-personnel expenses? What's that entail?
So that is like our supplies, printing, all of the things in the category office, rental, utilities, ADA accommodations, those types of things.
Oh, $240,000 a year for that.
Oh, well, mileage is a huge part of that. So we are travel all across the county, and actually all across the unit. So our staff are reimbursed for their mileage. And that's for the entire unit. That's for the 3 counties. Total non-personnel expenses for Lee County is about 50 grand. So yeah, so I mean, you can see we're spending about $80,000 more a year than we have, which again is okay right now because we do have that carryover.
Do need to kind of figure out some ways, and we just need the state to quit, and the state and the federal government to quit
Messing with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note too, just quickly, we've been engaging in opportunity the last couple years to get an increase in our state funds. We have not had a raise from the state of Illinois since 2010. And all of the states around us, we are the lowest paid extension service. And that really says a lot because we also have a higher population base than many of those states. That has failed the last 2 years. We had the most traction this year. We're looking for an additional $10 million a year from the state, across the state. But what that means for us locally, that would fund, 2 educator positions every year. So that would really, really help our local bottom line. So we'll try again next year. We'll see what happens.
I don't see any kind of insurance item here. So how is no one's got health insurance then?
Those benefits are paid for by the campus. That's part of that contribution our programming staff, that's paid locally. It's included in their salary, as salary and benefits. And then for our academic staff, that's part of that $91,000.
Reed, do you have anything to add? All right. Nobody has any other questions. Thank you very much, Carla.
Well, thank you as always. We appreciate your support, and I'll be seeing you next month with a report on all the things we've been up to this summer. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Thank you.
All you do.
All right. Next on the agenda would be Sarah Kent from the Regional Office of Education. She's filling in today for Chris Tennyson, correct? Thank you very much for coming in.
Yes, thank you.
What do you have for us today? Any major changes?
No, not any major changes, pretty much the same as it's been the past few years, or at least last year. Our professional development coordinator's been working on some new grants, so that helps with some of the costs of our building.
And the ROE is 3 counties,
Yes, Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside.
Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside. And your office is in
It's in
Whiteside,
It's
right?
in Whiteside County in Sterling.
And how big a staff do you have?
We are up to 87. They're not all housed in that particular office. We do have a small location in Ogle. One of our staff goes there once a week to do fingerprinting. And then they also have like outreach education program that'll.
You said 87 employees?
Mhm.
And what is the primary function of the Regional Office of Education?
We, several fingers to it. We also help the community, those that didn't graduate high school, get their GED. We do background checks for schools, for like their teachers, construction staff that are coming in the summertime to do their health, life, safety updates. We also have programs that work with early childhood. Our Parents as Teachers program's been a big program for the last, gosh, almost 20 years. Help educating new parents, young parents that maybe don't quite know how to navigate, from baby to 2 or 3 years old. We also now partner with the YMCA and Open Sesame and have preschool classrooms there. The new building out by Walmart and then the Open Sesame building here in town. We also do professional development for teachers, administrators, offer admin academies for like principals, superintendents that have to have so many 80 hours every year, so.
Yeah, also the kind of the conduit between the state
Yes.
office and the schools.
Yes, yes. All the new legislation changes that happen, Chris and Josh are very active in going in and talking with the schools, offering education on that because it's constantly changing, especially with licensure. That sometimes is almost weekly, it seems like.
And it happens to be whatever the agenda is of the
Yes.
state office for that particular year is what they're
Right.
pushing, right?
Yeah, a lot of health, life, safety. The staff, Josh, Chris, and Michelle Hop, who's our Lee County employee, they go and literally to each school
Mhm.
in our 3 counties every year to check the buildings, make sure they're safe for our students, so.
So these numbers reflect only Lee County. We don't have a complete summary of your whole budget, right?
Correct.
In the future, is it possible to have that, to have the whole
Mhm.
whole
I'll
budget?
let Chris know, yeah. we
That'd
can
be
do that.
helpful, I think. to
Like
know
most
that.
of our bills get split 3 ways. So White Side takes a portion, a third.
You probably weren't privy to this, but what University Extension did is they're a 3-county organization.
Mhm.
They show the split out between each county and what the expenses are
Yeah,
and what the revenues are. So it'd be helpful, I think.
yeah,
to have that
definitely. I'll let Chris know.
From
You
their
can share
lead.
that information.
Ally, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Right. Just, anybody else have any questions for Sarah?
Real good.
Well, thank you very much for
Awesome.
you and Chris, doing the work you do and presenting this,
Of
getting
course.
it put together for us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sarah.
Have a good day.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Hey,
All
Reed.
right. We do have presentation from, where did I do with it? Yeah, Lee County Council on Aging. Do we have Susie Welch on Zoom?
Yes, I'm here on Zoom.
Thank you, Susie. Sorry you weren't able to make it yesterday, but can you give us a little bit of an update on the Lee County Council on Aging, where you're at this year for the budget?
Do we have numbers? They're in
This
the
was,
resource.
just to clarify, this is one of the social service
Oh, that's right.
from yesterday that wasn't able to attend yesterday's meeting, so we kind of
Okay.
got it rescheduled for today. So yeah, the budget request would be in your resource folder from or yesterday or from the agenda from yesterday.
Okay.
Lee County helps the seniors in Lee County. We've currently do transportation. We have exercise programs that we do. We have a wide range of nutrition programs that we do. Our outreach is like the backbone of us. We help with counseling for Medicare and Medicaid and Part D, the prescription plan. We have funds that we can access for respite care, or if a senior needs some something like a stove or a fridge, we have funds that we can access for that. We have devices to help seniors that are having hard of hearing problems, either a cell phone or a telephone. We just received the okay to start the Grandparents Raising Grandkids program. So we're trying to offer support and education opportunities to those seniors that are back raising kids again. We also have someone here that will help seniors with technology. Just yesterday, we had a volunteer from Dixon High School come in and teach the seniors how to get coupons digitally and use them to save funds. We also have, he also came earlier this year and did how to get groceries bought to your house. All the measures we do is basically to keep seniors active in the community and keep them living in their home. So we do a vast amount of different things because not every senior likes the same thing. I also sent a little brochure with my packet that just tells you what we do. I mean, our nutrition programs, we have so many partners that we work with. Lifescapes come in and they help us by providing hot lunches for the seniors. The Sauk Valley Food Bank, I was there this morning, and with a partnership with them, I can bring fresh vegetables every Tuesday to the seniors of Lee County. We serve about 400 just with that program. Thanks to OSF, we get meals that are prepared that we can give out twice a week. And then our volunteers are great. We have a community garden that also helps those that need a little extra help. Our outreach can do just about any application there is to help seniors, like food stamps or the senior freeze. And then we try to provide education. I have the health department coming in, I think it is next month, and they're going to start, sorry, having a senior moment, shots for the flu. We have OSF coming in. They're going to do a presentation on different types of diets to help you, whether you're diabetic, whether you have high cholesterol, whatever it is. We also have Tom Wadsworth that comes in and provides education on local events in Lee County, the history. Each one of these things we do brings in a different senior from Lee County. We service 2,000 seniors from Lee County, and we almost provide about almost 30,000 units. And a unit would be like one ride to and from, or an hour of time, whether it be enjoying a card game or getting our outreach workers to help with electronic application or something. We're in the community, so we're out at Paw Paw, we're at Ashton, we're in Franklin and Amboy every month. We have office hours at the community room in Amboy and then the libraries and those other places.
Susie, where do most of the funds come from for your organization?
Oh, that's a good question. We're very fortunate because we get 1/3 of our funding from IDOT through Reagan Mass Transit. And then another 1/3 of our funding comes from you and the Older Americans Act, which is the federal. And then 1/3 of the money we have to come up with. So it's been kind of challenging, but this past year, we've been successful with a lot of fundraisers. Our board was out there at County Market selling hot dogs and hamburgers. We have a senior fair here that we put on. And then we have our Santa's workshop that we put on for the kids and then the seniors. So somehow we've been pulling it together. I'm not sure how, but all the partnerships have really helped.
And probably a lot of volunteerism too.
Oh, yes. We have more volunteers than we have staff. We have about 3 center staff, and then we have 6 for transportation. And then everybody else is a volunteer, just sharing whatever their talent is. Is there any other questions?
We don't have any breakdown in numbers like we do with all the
This has
other.
been similar to yesterday's. So it would have been in yesterday's packet, so.
Well, I don't see any kind of breakdown though. I see a request and
Well,
I
there's
see,
no
That's all we
financials.
had.
but-
there's no financials. I'm sorry?
Susie, one question. On the meals that you provide, I know there's a $3 if they can afford to pay it. Does that money go to you guys or does it go back to the
Oh, no,
provider?
it goes back to life. Yep, it goes back to Lifescape. The only
Okay.
thing we have to provide for is the person to serve it and then the keeping the place up to health and safety standards.
Okay.
And
Just out
then,
of
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how many meals a day do you normally serve and what percentage of them actually get paid for? I'm just curious.
The money's put in a locked box, so I don't really see the money myself.
Okay.
But I will say that we have about 12 regulars that come in and they have a hard time paying.
Okay. I'm just curious. Thank you.
Are there any more questions for Susie at the moment? Seeing none, thank you very much, Susie. Appreciate you working with our schedule today. And
Thank you for letting me.
Nope, go ahead.
Thank you so much for letting me come. I do know one of the been asking is about succession plan. We do have a succession plan here. And I'd like to stay working. I love my job.
And you're the executive director, correct?
Correct. I call myself the chief bottle washer because I fill in wherever it's needed. But I guess after listening to everybody, that's what we're doing nowadays is filling in where we needed.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it's much appreciated and thank you for presenting today and we'll be back in touch to let you know when the budget period is all wrapped up here. We'll be letting you know where you end up at. So thank you very much. All right. Have a nice day.
You too.
All right. Becky, is there anything else, anybody else on the agenda that you see? All right. Jeremy, do you have anything else today?
No, sir.
Mr. Mitchell?
Just if you guys had any questions that you felt I could answer about any of the presentations today. So.
Tom?
I don't know if it's presentations, but I've sat here more years than I want to admit, finance, and watched it change, and actually was here when predecessor for the university was asking for space to stuff. You guys have worked together to put this together for us and get us this presentation with the department heads. In the past, you know, we used to sit down with them and go item by item and say, what can we cut? What can we do? And I'm assuming you guys are doing that well, because this comes looking really good when it comes to us. I just don't want to feel that we're missing something we shouldn't be.
No, I mean, that's the process that we do with the staff now. I mean, as we've progressed from board needing to do that because you didn't have a finance director and administrator here, to us doing that with the department heads. What you guys are seeing essentially is the first blush of the draft that the departments are presenting to us. From here on out, we will be continuing to work with the department heads to do exactly that.
Yep.
As we're trying to balance this budget, we will be sitting down with each and every one of them in more detail, further than we already have, to work through things that we need to trim out to make this work. So yeah, that's on our shoulders now, as opposed to in the past, it was the board's responsibility to do that operationally because you didn't have anybody in-house to do it.
Well, it's very nice to have that professionalism of what's going on,
Well, and
because you have much more education in finance than most any of us on the board. And I mean, you guys are closer to it, you're able to do it. So I really appreciate that's what's happening. But to see it change is quite an adventure to watch go on, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, I think there's some efficiencies for sure that have been made through the process going the way it is. And no,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I see these meetings are, you know, Jeremy mentioned, hey, this is kind of their first draft, their initial request, and I want them to be able to come in and make the case to you guys of, hey, if, you know, we didn't have too many today and that we're asking for any significant real changes or anything like that, but I want them to make the case of, hey, this is why, you know, potentially I want to increase this expense and why I think it's important, right? Yeah, we're gonna, once we get through these meetings of the presentations, right, we'll start, you know, see where we're at from hey, what have we projected from a revenue standpoint versus where are we at from initial request, and start looking at where we can trim if we're really far off, and having those conversations with department heads.
well, so far, it seems like there's a culture in the county that, hey, everybody realizes that, you know, there can't be any fat anywhere. It's gotta stay fairly lean, and based on the presentations today, and I'm sure tomorrow will be the same way, they've already come with just, you know, needs, it seems like, and not very few wants, you know, if that makes sense.
When we get to the point where you and Jeremy work through this with everybody, will we be able to see, for instance, what was requested versus what you all settled on? Will we see that comparison?
We can, most certainly, and actually, you know, it was kind of, this is probably the first year where that will be relatively easy, because we do have that new, you know, $600 budget, add-on to our My Viewpoint services, where we're actually going to be able to track this through, I think we've got basically 6 or 7 different stages, right? Stage 1 is everybody's individual budget requests from the department heads, and it kind of comes into the finance bucket. It's where I go in and say, hey, you know, if they were, like right now, the only thing that I've really done is kind of maybe corrected payroll or payroll related accounts if I knew it was going to be significantly different, right? Like if someone came in and just said, health insurance, same as last year. Well, I know that that's probably not going to be true. And so I made an adjustment, but we would be able to, you know, essentially in a very similar format to how we've presented these budgets, be able to show you what the balance of the request was at each of those individual stages. So before that had been a little harder because it was all Excel based, and it would be a lot going on in that file to do all of that. But
Well, and I recognize that much of the numbers that are in each department are pretty much you generate the numbers because it's salaries, it's IMRF, it's insurance. You have all that information. And
Yeah.
a lion's share of every budget is that.
You know, that's gonna be pretty typical of, I'm not gonna say every department within the county, but if you look at our financial statements as a whole and, you know, we provide services for the most part, right? And so we're gonna be very heavy on,
I think it was in
Wages.
probation that I noticed a line item that I don't think I noticed in any other department, and that was merit pay.
that is something that they have within their union contract. So, within the probation's union contract, there is a format and like score that they're graded on, and that then determines what their merit adjustment, or merit bonus
And
is.
that's on top of any COLA, right?
Correct, yeah. So their union contract is either, can't remember if that one's the one that's 4 years, but generally between 3 and 4 years are most of our union contracts, right? Within that union contract, they do have a annual COLA adjustment
Right.
for their like salary schedule,
Right.
right? And then they are evaluated based on a certain set of criteria that is in that union contract. Depending on where they fall, will determine their merit pay.
And that's arbitrary based on the review that they get from their superior or supervisor?
I mean, I would maybe want to ask Stacy what the nuts and bolts are of it, but that is my understanding. Yes, they get I think that evaluation comes from Stacy. And it's scored, and you know, we're the ones that input it in payroll, and it's not like everybody just gets the max. We get
Are
very
you
different amounts.
specifically talking about the line item called longevity, Jason?
No, merit. There was a merit pay line item. I think it was on
Yeah.
probation.
Yes, it is.
Merit. Yeah, okay. Now I'm seeing it. Sorry. Okay.
I meant to ask the question and I forgot. Salary merit. Is that right? Yeah, salary
Yeah.
merit. Well, no, wait a minute. That's not right. Maybe it was another department. Oh, merit pay.
Yeah.
A merit pay. Like there's $13,500 allocated for that or requested.
Yeah.
And that is divided up then according to this process.
Yep.
which the
Yep.
union- the
And
union
it's
contract-
defined in the union contract, and I believe even like the scoring is defined in the union contract.
And then what about stipends? How's that? Who's?
That's within the FOP and probation union contracts, they have a clause for employees that do not take our health insurance, that they basically get $1,500 throughout the year. That is that amount. So
That's what that is.
more of a function of who's on our health insurance versus who's not.
So if they've got a spouse that's on a plan, then they don't have to be on the plan. There's some reward for not taking the insurance here.
Correct.
Got it. And that's just in the offices that are unionized?
Actually, it's only in the FOP union related contracts. So that would be the probation contract and the one that we have with the sheriff's office. So, and the sheriff's office includes deputies, corrections officers, and telecommunicators.
Got it.
All right. Any other questions? Committee? All right.
Next meeting is Thursday, right?
We don't have any executive session today. Our next meeting is Thursday at 9 AM. So I'll take a motion to adjourn from Tom,
Second?
second from Dean. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.